Okay guys, welcome back. So today's video is going to be about should you change your lifetime transmission fluid on your car. So let's get onto it.
But goddamn, get it done, will ya? When I blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York.
So, as you would have seen by the title, this is about should you be changing your lifetime's transmission fluid on your car. Now, this isn't just specific for BMW. This relates to a lot of cars because a lot of manufacturers are using the term lifetime in their gearboxes or transmissions that you shouldn't change the car. And the word is very misintercepted. BMW will tell you one thing and you will think another thing. Then you read up online and it says another thing. So the word lifetime actually stems based on the warranty period of the car. So when you buy a car brand new, lifetime is meaning either 4 years, 3 years or 50,000 miles, whatever comes first. And that's the same for a warranty period. On a normal car, it's either 3 years or 100,000 miles, whatever comes first, and the car's under warranty, like most manufacturers give from standard when you buy a car. Now people get this mixed up all the time based on if they should or they shouldn't change their transmission fluid. Manufacturers will tell you not to change it because if it does, it will void the warranty and it could cause harm to the gearbox, which in some essence, that is actually true. Now, I know this because many guys on my channel, many people when I used to work in garages used to come in with diesel cars and they would change the transmission fluid on the diesel and then the gearbox would grenade a week later, especially on the GM transmissions, which is used on a lot of the Chevys, Dodges, and on the diesel cars because it was the only gearbox could actually handle the amount of torque. Many people will know the GM transmission is very well known for grenading anyway, but that was purely because the gearbox wasn't done correctly, the flush wasn't done correctly, and that's why a lot of the time the gearboxes end up grenading. Another reason why they end up grenading because the oil breaks down so much over time that the old oil ends up becoming good for the transmission rather than bad because the transmission's got used to having the old oil in. Now, a lot of the time it's heat. Heat over time will disintegrate the oil in the transmission and completely not protect it as it should. Now, many people know when they drain their transmission fluid, it will come out black in color. Now, that isn't good because that isn't protecting your solenoids, your sleeves, or anything in the gearbox. And you've got to remember, the gearboxes are all metal, made up of metal fragments, all touching each other to make up the gearbox. Same with the solenoids. Now the oil has to be thick in order to lubricate all the seals and all the moving mechanical parts inside the transmission itself. A lot of people will tell you not to touch it over 100K. Some will tell you to do it before 100K. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter when you do it. If the gearbox is too late to be saved, then it's too late to be saved no matter what the mileage. It depends on how the car's been driven all its life. It depends on the climate it's been in. It depends if the gearbox fluid has ever been changed. Now let's just go back a minute. On my E60, my 530i, the gearbox fluid's already been changed. Someone had already changed that before I'd actually purchased it at like 80K. And we're on 167K now on my E60. So it has been changed in its life. And I've got the report to show that. But it also had new solenoids as well because it was shifting funny. So they changed that over and that was before even I got it. So that was peace of mind knowing that. Bearing in mind I bought the car on 127K. So it was peace of mind knowing that the gearbox had already been done. Yes, it's due again, but the main factor is it's had a gearbox flush in its life already. And I think that's why my gearbox is still running perfect to this day and age. Do I believe in a lifetime cycle? Many of you will say to me, I did a video stating that you shouldn't touch transmission fluid. Now, the reason I did state that was purely because I don't want none of you to harm your car. But I do not believe changing the fluid is going to cause more harm than good. It depends on the car and how long you've been running with that fluid in and who owned the car, as I previously stated. But lifetime is not lifetime fluid. Any manufacturer, any good manufacturer will tell you that. Even ZF, which are the manufacturers for Volkswagen, Audi and BMW's gearbox, the most biggest manufacturer to even supply Toyota now, will tell you the same thing, that the gearbox fluid and the pan should be changed out every 50 to 60,000 miles. Now, I know there's a lot of you that have done that and end up with big problems, and that's because obviously the car's been neglected. but it doesn't change the fact that you should be changing the fluid on the gearbox to prolong the life of the gearbox. Like I said, old oil breaks down, it ain't doing the job as it's meant to inside the gearbox. You've got to think this is a big gearbox, and oil is cheaper than a new transmission, the same as oil is cheaper than a new engine. So I do believe to get your lifetime fluid actually changed and not to leave it in there. And if you do speak to your manufacturers, they are going to tell you not to touch it or it will void your warranty. This is normal, and this is why a lot of people get scared of touching it. You end up going to a lot of garages, even here in the UK, that will tell you, they'll put their hands up and tell you they're not touching that transmission. They will not give no warranty if anything goes wrong. Therefore, they're not going to honour doing the service on the car because of that reason, that you will come back to them and put blame on them and put fault on them. They now have to shell out for a new gearbox. So a lot of garages won't attempt to do it. The only ones that will attempt to change the gearbox are the ones that are confident and know what they're doing. Now, if you have tuned your gearbox, for instance, the DSG or the DCT with a flash, then I do recommend to actually change the fluid, especially, and that's purely because the gearbox is tuned, therefore the oil is going to get hotter, especially if you're, got a tuned car. It's going to end up making the temperatures rise, especially on the gearbox itself. Upgrade the intercooler, but at the same time, you're going to need to change that fluid because the fluid's going to break down a lot quicker than it would on a normal car. And this is for anything. With a good tuned engine, tuned car, things are going to wear out quicker. So therefore, don't believe the lifetime crap that people will tell you, because lifetime is not lifetime. The gearbox fluid must be changed. I'm going to be changing it out even on my M5. I've got the fluid here, we've got to do it on that as well, and that's a manual transmission. If you do own a BMW, make sure to change your fluid. I'm not telling you not to do it, and I know you watched one of my other previous videos telling you not to touch it, and that's purely because I don't want none of you, like I said, to grenade your gearbox. A lot of you will go and do it on the diesel, and there's many of you on here that will end up commenting telling me that it destroyed your gearbox and you had to buy a new gearbox, either your torque converter or your clutch packs. It's very, very common, and it's something I hear of all the time. The gearbox is going out. And if many of you guys don't believe me, just comment below if you've had any issues with your transmission where you changed the fluid because you thought it would be good to actually change it and end up with a lot of problems. Majority of the time, as I said, it's mostly garages not knowing what they're doing with them gearboxes, and that's the God's honest truth about it. A lot of them need ISTA, a lot of them need to be plugged up to diagnostics, come up to temperature, and there's a cycle you have to run through before you can just bleed the whole system and drain the gearbox fluid. That's the way these cars are invented, and that's the same on my M5, that's the same on a lot of the gearbox, even the E60 with the M52 engine. There's a cycle you have to go through to drain the fluid, and a lot of people don't understand that on these cars. But lifetime, like I said guys, only means 4 years or 50,000 miles or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first. Therefore, lifetime is not lifetime. Do not be fooled by the word lifetime thinking it's going to go lifetime 300,000-400,000 miles, because that's just not the case. Not even your Toyota will make it to 300,000 to 400,000 miles without the gearbox fluid being changed. They run ZF boxes, they're going to need changing. ZF also recommend to actually change the fluid on the gearbox, regardless of what BMW state. They all recommend that the gearbox fluid be changed, and all manufacturers will recommend that from this period onwards, because obviously BMW were costing people a lot of money when they were putting out that the gearbox fluid was lifetime. People were keeping their cars with one owner, going hundreds of thousands of miles, never selling their car, thinking it was lifetime, then grenading, and BMW would have to pay for the bill because it's had a one owner car serviced by them all the time, and they kept telling the people it was lifetime fluid because BMW wouldn't touch the gearbox. BMW does not service gearboxes. If you take it into them, they will not even touch it. That's why they only deal with cars in the 4 year period. Anything over the 4 year period, you take it to them, they will not touch that gearbox because they instantly think you're trying to hold them liable for them destroying your gearbox. And they know a lot of people recently have been taking their car there to try and have it done, to try and make them foot the bill if anything goes wrong, because it's more confidence for the person and they feel more secure knowing that if BMW touch it, they will pay out. So I hope it's going to clear up a lot of the issues regarding lifetime fluid. As I said, there is no such thing as lifetime fluid. Do not believe the myth about lifetime, because it's all crap. There is no lifetime fluid. That's like saying your oil in your engine's lifetime, which is not. So thank you very much for watching guys. This is BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.